Hey everyone, I'm Jen. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So, if you look at my description box down below, you will find my about section and you will find all my social media, everything you need to know, my wish list for my go bags for supplies for life, what my certifications mean, all that good stuff. A lot of you have asked me how you get into detox or how you get into rehab, or some of you have not known, like some of you have made comments that you thought this was my steady real job. And I hate to say it like that because social media truly is a real job. And I will never take that away from content creators because it is hard as hell. But this is not my real job. And what my real job is, I am a peer for an agency called ADAC, Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council of Delaware County. And I am the peer inside the jail. So I work with the incarcerated population. Working with the incarcerated population is actually a dream come true for me, like literally a bucket list dream. And the reason why I say that is I get to work with the inmates in the same jail that I was an inmate in 2017. So for me, it's surreal that I get to do that. And then, as you all know, I created Supplies for Life, and I work with people in active addiction who are on the outside in the addiction world. A lot of people ask me if this makes me want to do drugs, and actually this is the complete opposite of making me want to do drugs. It keeps it so fresh for me because I get to see what the life is like and what people go through and how bad it really is out there right now. And for me, it is the biggest source of my strength. But that being said, it is a process to get, you don't just wake up and say like, hey, I want to go to detox today, or I want to go to rehab, or this is the situation. So the process starts with you first coming to me or whoever it is that you're working with and saying like, hey, I need some help. And I would some people just want to go to detox. They just want to get detoxed from the substances that are in their body in a safe manner. Other people want to go to detox and then continue on to rehab. Some people feel they don't need detox and they just want to go straight to rehab, which we'll just touch on in a few more minutes. So if you want to first thing you have to do is have an open mind, right? And you have to come to me or whoever it is you're working with, we'll just use me as an example, and say, hey, Jen, listen, my shit's fucked up and this is what it is, right? And I'll say, okay. First thing I will ask them is, series of questions that I will ask them. One of them will be, unfortunately, and I hate that this is one of my first questions that I ask, do you have health insurance? And then that's really what guides where I can send people and how the next stages of the process go. So if you have insurance, amazing, great. Now I will ask you, how long have you had insurance for? If you have had insurance for 30 days or less, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have straight Medicaid. If you have straight Medicaid, or for New York, it's Medicaid. If you have straight Medicaid, I have to send you to rehab or detox inside of New York State, which then becomes semi-sketchy. And the reason why I say that is rehabs are like anything. Schools, colleges, stores, restaurants, they wax and wane, right? They go from sometimes super great to other times they tank and they're terrible. And right now, the rehabs that I was potentially sending people to inside New York State are bordering on the terrible side because COVID has made it very difficult. COVID has made it so difficult because it has made it difficult for them to staff people. It has made them difficult when you don't have the proper staff to keep the rehab participants, the clients, the consumers, however you want to call them, to keep them on the straight and narrow. A lot of times people go to court-ordered rehab and they will try and bring things in because they're just not at that point. They're just not ready. I mean, I've been there myself. I went to rehab and snuck pills in. It is what it is. That being said, say you have insurance for over 30 days. So it turns into Fidelis, which is managed care. I can then send you anywhere that will accept Fidelis in the country, really. I work very closely with a facility in Pennsylvania. I have a contact who is absolutely amazing, and he is actually new. And the person he replaced, I had a wonderful, relationship with her. So what we will do is we will sit down and I will call or text my contact and say, "Hey, I got a guy for you. I got a girl for you. This is their drug of choice. This is a little bit of the backstory. They need to focus on more of a mental health piece. They need to focus on more of a trauma piece. They need a woman's only facility," because I have the type of relationship with my people where I know those bottom basic things. And my guy will then say, "Hey, I'll get back to you in a few minutes, or I'll get back to you in a little bit. I'm in a meeting," or whatever the case may be that day, right? And he will then contact me and I will give them said person's name, social security number, date of birth. He will do an insurance check on their end because it's part of their protocol. They just have to make sure they know if I say the person has insurance, that the person has insurance, but it's their standard protocol that they also have to run it through their system, which I totally get. And once there's a determination of their insurance and whether it's straight Medicaid or managed care, then we can proceed from there. I tend to prefer to send people to this said facility in Pennsylvania for a multitude of reasons. One, it's out of New York State and there is still smoking allowed. Let's face it, when you're newly onto your path of recovery, you are giving everything up in your life. Smoking is the last thing you want to give up. And I get it. Boy, do I get it. So that is one main reason. Secondly, I have a really, really good working relationship with them. And I think one time I had someone who had to wait a week for a bed that had all their insurance and everything up to par. And then usually they will call that day or that next day and they will do an intake with said person. Once the intake is completed, it has to go in front of their review board. Once their review board reviews it, and usually they're right on time. I mean, sometimes it's a half hour later. Like they're really with it. I appreciate them. We will finagle time frames and what can be done for transportation. Sometimes transportation is solely left on me to get someone 4 hours away. And I have paid people, I have given people bus money. It really, I will do whatever I have to. If a person is that ready and they get to that point, I will take them myself if I have to. So there's that. And that's if you are on the outside and have all those things in place. Now, if you are on the outside and you don't have health insurance, the first step that we have to do together is get health insurance, because number one, you should just have it. And number two, you can't go to rehab for free, unfortunately. So what I will do is I will call my contact and have them connect with said person and get insurance set up. Now, normally within 48 hours, I can have somebody fully on Medicaid. Now, if they're in Medicaid, I have to send them within New York State. So I will send them first to a detox place that is about 45 minutes away from here, just to get the ball rolling and then go from there. I don't prefer to do that. I like to send people all to one place to detox and go to rehab, because I think sometimes when we are allowed a break in that treatment, our stinking thinking gets the best of us and we decide that I got this, or I'm good, or, our disease gets to us. And then we decide we don't need rehab. And sometimes I have people who have been to rehab a multitude of times and they just want to go to detox. But I always tell them it's rehab. Like, you know what it's about, right? You never know. You might learn something else you didn't know. But at the end of the day, the only thing you're going to do is give your disease less time to start to close up and give your brain and your body more time to heal, so your disease cannot be in control and you can. Sometimes that spiel works, sometimes it doesn't, to be very honest. Now, if you are an incarcerated individual, the process is way different. So since I am the only peer inside the Delaware County Jail, my phone number and my email address is hung up in each pod and in the medical unit. Said individuals will call me collect. I accept collect calls. I put $30 a week on my phone. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, it's over $100 a month, and whatever. I would do it even if it wasn't my job, to be quite honest. So they call me and we talk about some things, and build a little bit of a rapport. And then I ask them, do you want me to contact your lawyer? And well, I've never actually had anyone say no, to be honest. And I will say, do I have your permission to speak with your lawyer? And they will say yes. And then I will call said lawyer and I will explain who I am and what I do. And I will explain that they are looking to have an evaluation done by our local outpatient facility. And they will then say, well, that's not going to happen. That's not on the table for them. Unfortunately, their crime is such and such, or to this degree. And unfortunately, rehab is not on the table for them. The DA is not going to go for it. The judge is not going to go for it. And then I have to explain to this person why, and I do. Times, it's a shot in the dark, and they're like, yeah, I kind of already figured, but I figured it didn't hurt to try, and it never hurts to try. Or sometimes I work with a very lovely lawyer from the public defender's office that I work with quite frequently, and we have an amazing rapport. And he wants people to succeed, and it's beautiful, actually. And he will be like, you know what? I was hoping you were calling me for said person. I am going to present this to the DA and see where their mind's at and see if we can get a court order, at least for an evaluation, and I will keep you posted. So then after evaluation, in a perfect world, he calls up the judge, and the judge is like, yes, we want that, right? It's not as smooth. It usually takes about 2 weeks. They will call up and they will issue a court order. And the court order will be by such and such date, per judge so-and-so, said individual is to have an evaluation by our, whatever the name of our local drug and alcohol place is. And there is one individual who works there and does that. And I feel for her because that's a lot of people and a lot of pressure. She will go in probably within the following 2 weeks, as time will allow her to move as humanly fast as she can. And she does a great job. She will go in and she will conduct a set of questions that she will ask to equal out this evaluation. She will ask them their drug choice, their drug use is like at the highest, at the lowest, what's their family support like, blah, 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 whatever. And then she will make her recommendation of whether she feels they should go into treatment court, which has also been called drug court. She will then say whether she recommends inpatient, outpatient, probation, parole, whatever she feels is best for them at that said point in time. If she recommends them going into a bed to bed transfer to a facility, meaning from the jail bed to the rehab bed, then that's what will happen. I will then speak with my contact, and then we make a warm handoff. So this way they can sign a release for me when they get there, and I can be notified of all their updates. They can call me from there, and they don't have to worry about, because I'm their recovery coach, it's like a free call, so to speak. And I will be involved in their recovery every step of the way. And this way, when they are due to be released from rehab to come back into society, whether they're going to be on probation or treatment court or whatever, it's considered a warm handoff. So from one facility back into the community, and they have me to fall back on as a support system when they come back into the community. So you got to understand, they're in jail for anywhere, I would say at a minimum of 8 weeks to a year before maybe their case finally gets heard and they get transferred to the rehab facility, and then they go from there. And then they come back into society after being in a facility for 21 days to 90 days, depending on whatever the court order is for, whatever their treatment is mandated, or whatever the facility deems best for them. And then they come back into society and they're kind of like, where do I go now? I'm not supposed to contact everyone and everything that I know, right? Because I was doing drugs and I was ruining my life beforehand. So it just makes it a little less scary when they come back into the real world, when they have someone like me to fall back on. And, like when they come home, I tell them, call me when you get in, what's the first meal you're going to eat? What's this? What's that? Do you need hygiene products? Sorry, guys. Lena came in to eat, of course, out of all times. Well, it is 5 o'clock. And I will get them hygiene, small food packages. If they want, if they have to go to family court to file papers to see their children, I will accompany them. I will help them with transportation to drug and alcohol outpatient when they first get home. Just things of that nature so they don't feel so alone and so lost when they first come home. People that go in off the street, I do the same thing with. So the end result and my participation during their stay, if you will, is the same whether you're coming from incarceration or if you're coming off the street. The only thing that really changes is whether how you go about getting put into the facility. And if you don't have health insurance and you have to get it and you want to wait the 30 days to go to the other facility because you want to smoke, in the meantime, I will help people get food stamps, SNAP, EBT, whatever you want to call it. So this way, while they are trying to remain sober and get their life together and waiting for their health insurance, their managed care to turn on, they will have food. Trying to think if I left anything out. I don't think so. I hope this answered your questions about this type of, how I facilitate people getting into detox and rehab. If you guys have any questions or if you feel I left something out, please comment down below and I will do my best to answer all of the comments. There has been so many comments lately and they have been so supportive and so amazing, like all of you. I'm so grateful for that. Also, I just wanted to mention, please don't forget that Jordan and I have an anthology that is openly waiting for people to enter. You can do artwork. You can do a short story about someone who has helped you you can do a short story about someone who has helped you during your life when you didn't feel like you deserved the help. You could do a poem, and we are accepting entries, I believe, until the end of February, and then we're going to publish it. It's a fundraiser for Supplies for Life. Right now, the book has not going to cost anything. The only thing that we ask in lieu of getting the free book is that you make a purchase off my Amazon wish list to help the members of Supplies for Life. I think that's really it, but please, I'm going to link the entry, like the website where you can enter for the anthology. And remember, as always, we recover loudly so those behind us do not suffer in silence. Bye, guys.